Hi, I'm Anna. I graduated from Simmons in 2011, and now I'm a graduate student still in Boston. And I came out to myself when I was 14, and I came out only to myself because 2 years prior I had met this friend who was pretty troubled, and she was new to my town. And in the first day I met her, she told me she was planning to run away from home because she thought she was a lesbian, and those feelings caused her to be abused at home by her mom, and she was abusing substances herself and self-injuring. And this was all because of her coming out process, which really scared me. And because I was the only one she told, I felt really burdened by her feelings and like I needed to support her through them. And in our 2 year relationship, we were very, very close. I became her sole confidant in like a few days, and I was constantly probing to learn more about her process of coming out because I felt like I may identify with some of it. And this girl engaged in a lot of risky behaviors that I often got too close to, and those were really painful and burdening experiences, and also really informed how I felt a coming out process should look. And when our relationship ended, it was pretty disastrous and explosive, and I came out to myself in my journal saying I was gay, but I didn't want to revisit it ever because it made me think of this girl and the really painful relationship we had had. So I decided to never revisit it, and that would have been the case had I not fallen in love. And I came to Simmons and fit in right away, and was really encouraged in my classes and in conversations with other students at Simmons to question what I thought I knew about society and my experience and myself. And through that questioning process, I fell in love with a beautiful, although broken world, and also with my pretty incredible self. And through that process, I started thinking more about how I identified and if I did want to revisit that. And in my sophomore year at Simmons, a woman I hadn't known for long but had come to trust very quickly and admire a lot asked my permission to ask me a personal question. And when she did, what she asked was if I identified as straight. And I nearly passed out because although I hadn't put words to it, I had been looking for an opportunity to explore those feelings around that identity. So she asked me if I identified as straight. I said no, and a really special thing about this woman was she was in her own process of coming out. So we kind of bonded together and started this journey together, and we came out to the Simmons community. We came out to our families. We started dating our first girlfriends, and it was a very freeing experience to find out there was some parts of myself I had been denying because I didn't want to think about them because I thought it would be a painful process, when in fact it was really a really loving process for myself. And the better I knew myself and loved myself, the better I knew and loved others, and I was able to engage in communities in a really deep way. The first year I was out, it was pretty challenging with my parents, and I had a lot to think about for myself. And I had a very warm reception at Simmons through my coming out process, and I got into this group of friends that we call the Sweeties now. We're still friends, and they familyed me when things were really hard with my parents, and they were there for me when my first girlfriend was in a really terrible car accident, and a lot of people invalidated my relationship with her and my feelings around the accident, and the Sweeties, that group of friends, was there for me. And we laughed so much together, and I wouldn't have had that community if I hadn't come out. It was a really important process to know myself better to be able to engage in that community. I didn't experience any bullying myself, but I anticipated a very hostile environment if I were to come out in my immediate home environment, which I have experienced some, but mostly in the other relationships I was able to engage in, it wasn't as scary and isolating as I thought it would be. And definitely coming to college and leaving my hometown put me in an environment where I didn't have to worry about small issues I'd have with people who didn't understand. I really was in a community at Simmons and in Boston of people who got it, who understood, who I didn't have to defend myself to. I didn't even have to be making a statement. I didn't have to come out and say, here's my agenda and I'm trying to be something that's doing something, instead of just being me and being out as a gay person. I didn't have to make a statement. One message I got that hit home was I grew up in a church and really religious, and although the church wasn't exclusionary to people who were gay, it also wasn't something that was really talked about, and I didn't know how it would be received in my faith community. And I turned to the Bible as a source of information and looked up some pretty scary passages about what the Bible had to say about being gay, and I think that's one of the things that kept me not out when I was home. But since I've been in Boston, I'm in an open and affirming UCC church, which means they are absolutely open and affirming to gay people and welcome them very intentionally with a very festive welcome. So that's been a very important thing to have. When I told my parents, I had started dating my first girlfriend, and I decided to wait a year, like I needed to figure out if I was sure or not, which looking back was silly because I know myself better than anyone else, so I was sure. And I actually called to talk about something else with them, and my dad said something I didn't think he would say if he knew that his daughter was gay. So I first yelled at them that I was dating, which was a big deal because I'm an only child, and they felt like they needed a conversation about the fact that I was dating at all, so they're a little flustered by that. And when I told them it was a woman, the conversation ended quickly, and I thought my mom would do well with it and my dad wouldn't, and they both did kind of poorly, but they stuck with it, and they both work really, really hard, and my mom loves my current girlfriend and talks more about her than she does about me, so I think we're doing okay there. One of the things I wish someone had told me when I was in middle school dealing with that really challenging friend is that a lot changes in a year. I wish someone told my 14-year-old self, look back a year ago and how different are things, because in a year they'll be different again, and that means that you either got to hang on just a year, you got to hang on for a year, or you better be having the time of your life because a new adventure's going to start. And to just know that time would continue to pass and people would get older and learn more, and with as much as I was changing, other people would change too, and that would change the situation for me. I also wish someone told me that I didn't have to come out to make a statement. I could just come out to be, and there didn't have to be a lot around it. Even though I had seen a very negative coming out experience, I could have my own process that was about me and not about the world. And I also wish someone told me that there were women who loved women and lived with women, lived fulfilling and beautiful lives together, and that had happened long before I started worrying about if I was gay or not. I wish I'd known all those things. And I wish I knew that it would be worth it, because I'm sure now that it has been worth it, because I can engage in really deep relationships. I have a much better understanding of myself, and that really helps me approach the world in a way that I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't want to change where I am or change the decisions I've made. No, I look forward to a really happy life with my partner, who I'm with and very happy with, and I know she and I are compatible, and we're happy together, and it doesn't feel as different as I thought it would with all, the sandstorm around being gay, and, we have these Republican candidates who can say really scary things. We can have lots of candidates say really scary things about people who are gay, and you think that if you're going to enter in your first relationship with someone whose body looks like yours, or into a same-sex relationship, that you're going to feel weird, like you're doing something wrong, but you don't. You feel like you're doing what you want and what you love and what feels right for you, and that's definitely worth it.